Hello out there, all you wonderful people. This is Andre, the Game Day Guy. Thank you once again for lending me your time and your ear and listening in to another 3DS game ideas video. And this time I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite series ever. My favorite series ever, Megaman X. Actually, for a long time, I've kind of wanted Capcom to go back and remake the Megaman Xtreme games. Both of them that came out on the Game Boy Color, like way back. I have both games, beat both of them. They're awesome for what they are, but like when you think of taking Mega Man X and shrinking it down into 8-bit, there were a lot of limitations imposed on it, but they did a really good job with those games for the limitations that were set in place. So I've always kind of wanted them to go back and do like a remaster of these games and like fit them to scale back to like the either the SNES games or the PlayStation games in general. I would like them to go back and like redo those games in either of those art styles and scale them to that, like, because it honestly would just be fun to have to be able to replay those games, and then they can add cinematics and stuff like that to it that they didn't add to it before, and maybe fix a lot of the typos that they that they had in the Game Boy Color game. Because gosh, man, those typos were awful. And I know it was just because it was just translation errors, but there were just sometimes when you read the dialogue and you'd be like, that word doesn't fit there. But hey, that's what happened. But I always liked the fact that the games had this interesting concept for both of the Game Boy Color games, where you kind of played the first half of the game, then you played the second half of the game as like separate files. And then once you beat both of those and you got the two endings that each of those came with, you could play through the whole game all over again to get like the complete story and ending. And I would really love them to keep that format. Like, don't change it. Keep the formatting of how the games worked the same. But just go ahead and like update the visuals, update the look, update the engines and stuff that for those games, and put them back out on the 3DS. Heck, even once they're out on the 3DS, if they do pretty well, which I would expect them to because they're Mega Man, but go ahead and see if you can put them somewhere else. But I'd say for at least to start it off, to jumpstart it, put them on the 3DS. Like, that would be the best place to put them. My preference for me personally would possibly be in the doing it in the 16-bit style, but do it like I'm forgetting the name. If anybody's looked up Mega Man X Corrupted, the guy that's working on that, like JKB Games, that's what it is. Yeah, like he's using the 16-bit art style, but he's giving the characters like the 32-bit poses and stuff. Like, so like I would love to see if they could do it that way. That would make it even better. Like, and plus, these two games, even though they're not a part of the main storyline, they kind of fit in between the other X games. Like, the first Mega Man Xtreme fits between X2 and 3, and the second one fits between 3 and 4. So, with them bringing out the X collection again, I would love to see this actually these games actually happen. As like, maybe not a part of that collection, but just like a duology put out for the 3DS. Like, that would work out really well. Like, and then while there's that audience that's still there, and there are parents who probably won't want to give their kids a Switch or buy like, you know, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't even have to re-explain this. Of plenty of people and myself have explained that over and over again. But 3DS is still kind of viable. Like, it's still doing pretty well on the market currently, even with the Switch like basically running shop with everything. So I think that it would just be a good idea to put it out there. And plus, I mean, it's got a high install base already anyway. So, and then with this, like the features that they have, you could have your weapons listed on the bottom screen, obviously, and use the touch controls to just do a quick select for all of your all the different weapons that you acquire in the game. It really doesn't need to be too much more complicated than that. So that's it. And in these games, at least in Xtreme 2, X and Zero both get armor upgrades. While Zero's don't have a physical effect on him, X's should. In the Game Boy Color game, I understand it was just because there was limitations to it. But when X got upgrades originally, like they didn't appear on him until you had all of the armor pieces. So it would be good to be able to actually have it, how it usually looks, where when X picks up an armor upgrade or a piece of armor, he's wearing it until while he's putting the rest of it on. Unless they wanted to go with a system that's like X5 and 6, where he's not wearing the armor until he has all the pieces together, and then that's a creative decision. I would probably do that so that you can collect the armor, but it doesn't affect how your current gameplay style is. But that's just me. Thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me, and until the next time, please enjoy your games and peace out.